Hello, it's Brent Schreiber with Leverage Lean, and this is the macro instructions video for the copy-paste Excel macro. A quick description of what this macro does. This macro is designed to copy the contents of each cell in an Excel worksheet and then work its way column by column and then row by row, giving you an opportunity to then paste each value into a destination that you please. This is great as if you do a lot of manual data entry in your job. I know I do, and this macro has saved me so much time and also prevented me from making mistakes, because if instead you're typing those values, you could potentially enter a typo or populate an incorrect record. If you want to see this macro in action, you can watch this video here. But moving on to the most important part of this video is the physical code for the copy paste macro. But if this is your first time using VBA, make sure you've completed these 3 steps before proceeding to the code. But if you're ready to copy this code, just go ahead and click in between the code lines and the physical code itself. You can click Control V, and we've copied this code. Now, navigating to a blank Excel workbook, we're going to need to save this as a macro-enabled workbook by navigating to File, Save As, and then saving this to my desktop. You can actually change the file type from Excel workbook to macro-enabled workbook here. And then I'm going to change the name of this to copy-paste just by changing the name here and clicking Save. So now we have a macro-enabled workbook, and you can see that just identify with the M at the end of the file name. Now let's navigate to the Developer tab to paste in that VBA code for the copy paste macro. On the Developer tab, click Visual Basic, and then in Visual Basic you need to create a module. Use this black arrow to drop down and select Module, and then within Module 1 click Control V, and now you've pasted all of the code for the copy paste macro. There's really no customization that you need to do, but I have put in some comments to this code to help you identify what each part of the code is doing, but don't hesitate to ask me any questions on that. Go ahead and click Save in Visual Basic, and we can close this. Now I also want to show you how to make a custom tab and a button to quickly access the copy paste macro. Let's go ahead and navigate to this drop down. For the Customize Quick Access toolbar, select More Commands, and in More Commands, select Customize Ribbon. So within here, we're going to immediately create a new tab. I like to create it next to the Home tab. You can go ahead and select the Home tab, click New Tab, and then let's change the new tab name to something else. I'm just going to change this to macros because I plan on using this tab to populate with multiple macros. Now the next thing to do is navigate over to this new group under the new tab. I just like to blank this out. If you want to select a group name, go ahead and enter that here. Now with the custom group selected, let's go ahead and navigate over to popular commands, change that to macros, and you can see the copy paste macro we've just pasted into Visual Basic. Click Add, and now let's change the name and the image you would identify for this button for the copy paste macro. I like to put a space in here for copy paste, and then this is usually the image I select. It's kind of the arrows swirling around, and then once you're done with this, click OK. You can now see we have a new macros tab and a new group with the copy paste macro. So you can start using this once this is complete. Alright, well thank you so much for taking the time to view this macro instructions video for the copy paste Excel macro. Don't hesitate to email me with any questions at brentschneider@leveragelean.com. Thanks so much for your time. Stay awesome.